A young girl who should have been enjoying her life changed her fate completely because of her mother's car accident. From then on, the innocent girl is forced to take revenge step by step. Today is her daughter Anna's 12th birthday. Her mother has spent half a month's salary on a big dinner for her daughter. Looking at the prices on the menu, Anna firmly refused to eat here. She couldn't bear to spend her mom's hard-earned money here. But upstairs, a girl who looks exactly like Anna is celebrating her birthday here too. Not only is there a band singing for her, but they've invited a table full of friends. These two girls are actually twins who have never met. The mother was determined to bring her daughter here for dinner today. She ordered her daughter's favorite pizza and a pasta. She even ordered 2 lemonade drinks. Anna couldn't help but obey her mom. Then she took out the watch she bought for her mom in advance. She thanked her mom for all her hard work. Although it's a fake, she loves it. Anna promised her mom that she would buy her a real one when she made money. When Anna went to the bathroom, her twin sister's classmates saw her and asked her why she suddenly appeared here and changed her clothes. Anna was so confused that she told her mom about it as a joke. But mom rushed back to the restaurant to look for the kid. She thought she'd be back soon. But how could the kind Anna imagine that she would never see her mom again? When the woman arrived at the restaurant, the girl had already left and there was no contact information for the customer. The woman went home alone and couldn't help but cry. At that moment, the courier suddenly delivered a piece of mail. And to my surprise, it was the paternity report of her first love and her daughter. And it showed that their paternity was not established. That means her best friend was not pregnant with her first love's child. After 12 years, the woman dialed her best friend's number for the first time. She didn't realize that her best friend had stolen her man by such a vicious means. In order to expose her best friend's true colors, she wants to publish the paternity report and put everything back to the way it was. But the woman said no one can be sure of the end until she tries. Lisa is terrified that a woman will destroy her family. She'd give her any amount of money she wanted. But Lisa's words hurt the woman's pride. Since things had come to such a pass, it was all the more important for her to find her daughter's father. Lisa then realized that the woman had not aborted the child. Lisa, who had always been proud and arrogant, knelt down in front of the woman and begged her to take pity on her. But the woman didn't want to see her hypocritical face. Watching the woman leave, Lisa suddenly had a terrible thought in her mind. A sudden traffic accident leaves a single girl without her only family member. At her mother's funeral, Anna was the only one at the altar. When a woman suddenly appeared and saw the picture in front of the memorial table, the woman looked extremely nervous because she was the one responsible for her death. 12 years ago, she used the baby in her womb to steal her best friend's husband. The husband explained to the woman that he was drunk and made a mistake, but she couldn't accept the double betrayal of her best friend and her husband, so she left him. At that time, the husband didn't know that the woman was pregnant. He didn't know that Lisa's baby wasn't his. 20 years later, the woman learned of the secret and went to Lisa in a rage to settle the score. In order to keep the secret, Lisa went for the kill. She stepped on the gas pedal, ready to rush to the woman. But when the car reaches the woman, Lisa still can't stand it. But the woman was so scared that her legs became weak and paralyzed on the ground just when she was ready to retrieve the umbrella. The driver of the car, who was coming from the other side of the road, didn't see the woman because his vision was blurred. But Lisa saw it all. Before leaving, she took away the paternity test to destroy the secret forever. But then the woman pulled her leg with her last ounce of strength. When she saw the child, she suddenly became very nervous because she knew it was her husband's daughter. There was another family that suffered at the same time. Coincidentally, the truck driver was an employee of the man's company. When Jack arrived at the funeral, the driver's wife blamed him. Watching the poor mother and son crying their eyes out, Jack's heart was broken. When he came to visit the family of the other victim, he froze on the spot. Jack never thought that the one who was killed was his favorite woman. He didn't know that the child in front of him was his own daughter. 12 years ago, a man betrayed the woman he loved most. He didn't think they'd be separated when they met again. Looking at the last photo of his first love, the man didn't even have the courage to cry. This also reminds him of a chance encounter not long ago. Jack saw the woman at the crossroads by accident. When the two looked at each other, the moment they both looked particularly nervous expression. The daughter even said jokingly that this is the mother's first love. The woman was even more embarrassed by her daughter's guess. Although Jack met Anna for the first time, but for some reason he had a feeling of familiarity. When he heard the age of the child, Jack suddenly froze for a moment. The woman told him not to think too much and explained that it was her husband's daughter. In fact, the woman not only didn't get married all these years, but also hid the fact that she gave birth to Jack's daughter. Jack wanted to go with the woman to the neighborhood for a cup of tea, but then the car behind him kept rushing. The woman wanted to leave, but Jack held her hand and asked her to wait for him. By the time Jack came back from parking, the woman had already left. What I never expected was that they would meet in this way. Jack came to the child and introduced himself as an old friend of the mother's. He was curious and asked the child why there was no one else there. In fact, after having the baby, the woman had cut off contact with her family. That's why Anna had always thought that her mother had no one else but herself. The child's words made Jack feel very sad. The next day, he came with the child to say goodbye to the woman. At that moment, Anna knew she would never see her mother again. When they returned, the community was ready to send her to an orphanage. Anna cried and begged them not to send her away where she could still smell her mother's scent. Worried that something might happen to her alone, they decided to force the door open. Just then Jack came to see Anna. Knowing that Anna didn't want to go to the orphanage, Jack tentatively asked her if she wanted to go back with him. Besides, he has a daughter the same age as Anna at home. He believed they wouldn't feel lonely together. So with Jack's persuasion, Anna agreed to go home with him. Jack saw Anna looking at the broken watch on her wrist several times. He wanted to know if this watch had any special significance to her. Anna told him that it was a gift for her mom on her birthday to thank her for raising her. Knowing that the child didn't get a present on her birthday, Jack gave Anna a watch from his car and wished her happiness in the future. Looking at the beautiful watch, Anna's face finally smiled. Jack brought the child back and told his wife that it was a friend's child. He was staying at home for a while. Lisa didn't reject her daughter and welcomed Anna very much. She even asked Anna to stay in the same room with her. How could the young Anna imagine that the woman in front of her was the murderer of her mother? I thought Anna would be happy here. But a hand-embroidered handkerchief in the suitcase caught Kate's attention. He knew his father had the same handkerchief, and that handkerchief was more important than his life. Kate was curious as to what was going on. A woman steals her best friend's husband and then kills her 12 years later, but she never expected that her husband would bring home her best friend's child. However, the husband didn't know that the woman would give birth to his child after she left him. In order to avoid unnecessary trouble, Jack lied that it was his friend's child. At night, Lisa asked her husband what kind of friend he was. Jack explained that his childhood friend had died a long time ago, but he didn't realize that a few days ago, the child's mother had a car accident. Jack had brought the child back because of his favor. So Lisa didn't think too much about it, and in the morning Jack asked his nanny to make crab meat because he only makes this dish when there are VIPs in the house. So Jack specially put the crab meat into a bowl and handed it to Anna. But Anna looked at it for half a day but didn't take a bite. It's not that she doesn't like it, but she's allergic to crabs. Anna was afraid that if she ate it, it would cause trouble for everyone. In fact, Jack doesn't eat crabs either because he is also allergic to crabs. Coincidentally, the symptoms of their allergies are exactly the same, but it's not common for people to be allergic to shells. Jack wondered how such a coincidence could happen, but this incident made Lisa feel a sense of panic. Thinking back to what her husband had just said and his previous behavior, the more Lisa thought about it, the more scared she felt, because she was the only one who knew that woman gave birth to Jack's daughter. She was even more afraid that Anna was the child, so she hurriedly sent someone to inquire about the whereabouts of the woman's daughter. The next day, when she came to the kitchen, she saw Anna washing the dishes, but when she looked back, she realized that she was the woman she had killed. She was awakened by a nightmare. Lisa was in a cold sweat. Just then the phone rang. It turned out that her men had found out the whereabouts of the child, heard that the child was taken away by a friend of the woman, and from the description, Lisa concluded that he was probably her husband. Then Lisa rushed over to look through Anna's things. She found her best friend's photo inside. Afraid of being discovered, Lisa pretended that she didn't know Anna's mom. She said she wouldn't allow photos of a dead person in her daughter's room and forced her to take them away. This was Anna's only hope. She begged Lisa to return the photos to her and promised she'd never put them in Kate's room again. Lisa gets angry, pushes Anna down and takes the photos. The next moment, she came to the office and threw them in front of her husband. She thought he'd made a complete fool out of her. How could he bring a woman's child into the house? She even wondered if he had been keeping in touch with a woman behind her back. Jack felt that his wife was getting more and more ridiculous. How could Anna be his child? After explaining to his wife the causes and consequences, Jack begged his wife to wait until the child had settled down before sending it to the orphanage. Lisa had no choice but to agree to let Anna stay here temporarily. But when she got home, she began to deliberately make things difficult for the child in order to force her to leave her home as soon as possible. The girl stomped her foot into the ground and then crushed it as hard as she could, and she did it to frame the orphan girl her father brought home to do this to his daughter. Lisa slapped Anna 3 times in a row and warned her that if she wanted to live in her own home, she'd have to learn patience. No matter what Kate says or does, you can't argue with it. This kind of parasitic life made Anna feel aggrieved and left her with tears of sadness. It turned out that Kate saw her father buying Anna another watch exactly like his own, and he even hugged and comforted Anna when she was sad. Seeing that Anna stole her father's love, Kate was so sad that she burst into tears. She went back to her room and smashed the watch. Jealousy drove Kate to make things difficult for Anna. When her classmates came over to play, Kate treated Anna like a babysitter and sneered at her, saying she was a wild child without a home. Then she put her hair in the juice on purpose to make her re-squeeze it. Anna knew in her heart that they were trying to frame her, but she had no choice but to take the juice down. But Kate tripped her up. Anna got up and left. She thinks Kate should be in charge of cleaning up after her. Kate thought Anna must be crazy to do that to herself, and so the 2 kids got into a fight. Kate got angry and pushed Anna down. Kate pushed Anna down and stomped on the ground to frame Anna. In the end, Anna was beaten up by Lisa and told her husband that Anna had pushed her and hit Kate. But Jack didn't believe that Anna was such a child. He turned around and went to the kitchen to find out what was going on. But Anna just apologized and didn't say why. She begged her uncle to send her to an orphanage because she didn't want to cause any more trouble. Jack knew that Anna must be hiding something, whatever the reason. He couldn't let Anna leave at this time. In order to prevent his wife from kicking Anna out, Jack could only agree to let Anna stay in the same room with the nanny. But the cruel Lisa started to make things difficult for Anna on purpose. She even made her go with the nanny to wash the blankets outside in the cold. At night, Anna took out an earring from her bag and swore in her heart, no matter what, she would find the owner of this earring, because it was the one thing her mom had been holding in her hand before she died. Anna knew that the owner of this earring must have something to do with mom's death. How could she have known that this earring belonged to her foster mom, Lisa? The rich lady suspected her adopted daughter of stealing her diamond. She said she had the diamond in her hand, but the girl refused to let go of her hand to prove her innocence even though her palm was pierced. It turned out that Anna was cleaning the house. Anna found her mother tearing up her mom's photos behind her back. These photos were the only thing she had left of her mom. In order to find other photos, Anna went to her foster mom's room and started searching. To her surprise, she found an earring in the drawer, and it was exactly the same as the one her mother was clutching when she died. Just when she was puzzled, her foster mom came back. Anna asked her why there was only one earring. Not only did she not answer, she even accused her of stealing from her room. Anna explained that she just wanted to find her mom's photo because she promised to take good care of them for her. Unexpectedly, the foster mom angrily kicked Anna out. Lisa was in a cold sweat with this earring, but when she went to her room, she took out her own earring. She found that the two earrings were exactly the same, but she couldn't understand why her mom was clutching her adoptive mom's earring. At that moment, her foster mom pushed open the door. She saw Anna hiding something behind her back. Foster mom suspected her of stealing even more. Anna wouldn't let go no matter how much she tried to grab her. Foster mom wouldn't allow a thief in her house and dragged Anna out of the house. Just then, the foster father and daughter came back. Jack thought that his wife must be making things difficult for Anna again and blamed her for making things difficult for such a young child. Lisa told her husband that Anna had stolen her diamonds. This cruel child refused to give up her things even though her palm was stabbed and bleeding. Unexpectedly, the daughter next to her also lied that she had always lost things since Anna came over. Jack couldn't believe Anna was such a child. Just open your hand and you can prove your innocence. But no matter how much he tried to negotiate, Anna still refused. Jack had no choice but to break it. But Anna bit Jack's hand. In order to take this opportunity to drive Anna away, Lisa pretended to start acting. Jack was furious and sent Anna to the orphanage. After getting off the bus, he still wanted to give Anna another chance. In the end, Jack chose to believe Anna and said he'd take her back in a few days. But Anna didn't want to go back to that home, so she felt very sorry for her foster father. 2 months later, a woman related to Anna's mother's death suddenly appeared. When she found out who she was, Anna was so scared that she immediately let go of her hand. On her husband's birthday, my wife waited for him to come home, but what she didn't expect was the news that her husband had been in a traffic accident. When mother and daughter rushed to the hospital, her husband had already left this world. It was then that she realized her husband had killed a woman and left a child behind. The woman had been searching for the child for 2 months. Today, she finally met Anna at the orphanage. She cried and held Anna's hand, wanting to adopt this child who was like her own life. If she doesn't raise this child properly, she might not be able to live a good life for the rest of her life. At that moment, Anna seemed to feel her mother's love in her eyes, so she decided to go home with this strange woman. But what she didn't expect was that when Anna was leaving school, Anna was surprised to see her best friend, Jim. After Anna's mother died, Jim heard that she was adopted by a family. They haven't seen each other since then. When they saw Anna again, they both had happy smiles on their faces. 15 years have passed since then. They had grown up and were still a couple in love. Anna worked hard every day to earn money and finally helped Jim to finish his studies. Jim finally proposed to Anna and hoped that she would marry him, but he can't afford to buy a house and has to live in a small house for the time being. But for Anna, as long as she could be with Jim, even living in a kennel was like a palace. He didn't realize that Jim had just joined the company and had been spotted by the company's representative. It turned out that Jim had been a student sponsored by Jack's company since he was a child. Jack has always been very optimistic about this kid, so he gave him a chance to study abroad right after he started working, and he would go for 3 years. Jim didn't say yes on the spot and begged Jack to give him a few days to think about it. For Jim, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but the important thing is that he's already proposed to Anna. If he chooses to leave the country, it means they can't get married until 3 years later. On the other hand, Anna was still happily cleaning her boyfriend's house and thinking about how to decorate their home when they get married. Suddenly, she saw a newspaper on the bed that her boyfriend hid a few days ago. The headline reported that the granddaughter of the group's grandchildren had divorced after 6 months of marriage, and this woman was the daughter of the family who first adopted her. Kate, the daughter of the family who first adopted her. Because it was reported that Kate cheated on her husband and divorced, the news was all over the city. The company's stock dropped, and Grandpa was furious. In fact, it wasn't Kate who betrayed her marriage. It was her husband. She told her father that if she didn't, he wouldn't agree to a divorce. In order to avoid the storm, the father decided to let his daughter leave the country. On the other hand, Jim was still struggling with how to talk to his girlfriend. Finally, he agreed to go abroad for further study. He didn't realize that Jack had already taken care of all the formalities for him to leave the country. In the evening, he decided to tell his girlfriend about it, but Anna's attitude surprised Jim very much. But then he couldn't keep his promise and finish the wedding. As long as Anna lets him stay, Jim will give up this chance. But Anna said that a man's career should be his priority, and it's not too late to get married when he gets back. Jim was both grateful and saddened by his girlfriend's approval. But just when his boyfriend was about to leave, Anna found out that she was pregnant.